What's up, Dance Fam? Russ here again. We are back from break for episode 8, Star Wars. Just kidding.
Already?
We got a special guest with us, but before we get there, let's talk about a few things. If this is your first time watching or listening to the session, what we do is we talk about dance issues in the community of dance, and we review videos, honestly, just giving our opinions about things so that you can get a kind of a different mindset of things or a different opinion about dance in general, because we feel that sometimes people don't want to give the whole truth about videos or about dance in general. So we hope it sparks a little bit more creativity. Today we're going to be reviewing La La Land, the movie musical by Damien Chazelle. Watch it if you haven't. It's definitely good. After that, we're going to be talking all about Mike Donez, our featured guest for this episode.
No. Dun, dun, da, da.
No, I guess we're not.
No, guys, don't do it.
But first, let's introduce the rest of the panel. Everyone else is on the DanceFam TV crew. First up, we have Magic Mike Arellano.
What up, guys?
Welcome
Glad
back.
to be back.
Yep. He's always behind the scenes. The host of Behind the Dance, our new show. Culture Shock DC alumni, Boogie Bots, ABDC, Season 2.
What?
What's up, Josh? To his left, we have Eser Kindness Valencia.
Hey, everybody.
Also on the DanceFam TV crew, Culture Shock DC alumni, Tito, BoyScouts, Funk Justice.
Yeah.
What's up?
What's up?
And then to his left, our featured guest, Mike Donez. What's up, man?
Hey, guys. Yeah! Thanks for having me on here.
Thanks for coming, man.
No problem.
What have you been up to lately?
Lately, aside from Christmas holiday, just some, music video stuff, camera operating things, and not really any dance videos so much lately, but kind of just trying to take that break before we get back into it in January.
Future Oscar winner.
Future Oscar.
Oh, yeah.
Fingers crossed, guys.
Oh, here we go.
I have you from Pinewood Studios.
Oh,
Pinewood Studios.
What'd you do over there?
What did you do?
Can you say?
I can, I can say. I really haven't tried to be as vocal about it as people might want me to. But.
Well, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I'm doing working for Bad Robot Productions over at Pinewood Studios. I've been doing that for the past 2 years.
Yeah. What? I guess that only means one thing.
Yeah. So we're doing
Star Trek.
there's Star Trek as well underneath the wheelhouse, but no, just like post-production supervision over there. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And obviously you were the director of photography for Tobias Elhammer's dance video Black or White by Michael Jackson.
Yes.
amazing.
That
was
craziness.
amazing.
We reviewed
Thank
that
you.
video, episode 6, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 6.
We listened to that. It was great. No, the commentary on it was awesome. But that was a crazy journey. Yeah. Between
it looked crazy, man.
Yeah, it
all
really
the
did.
traveling was insane, but it turned out well enough. I'm glad you guys liked it. So
I mean, everyone loved it.
And you got friended by Tobias.
Yeah. I did. Vic did. I think maybe Greg.
He loved it. Yeah. He sends his regards, by the way. He knew I was coming on today.
Oh, awesome.
He was
Oh, hey.
What up?
Okay.
Shout out, Tobias. Shout out, man. Tell him we love it. We love the video. So good work, man. That was
Thank
awesome.
you, guys. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got some announcements. We have a new show and podcast, The Session. It's a spinoff of this session, but it's a one-on-one thing. At every time we go to like a behind the dance kind of serious thing, Prelude in general, we go one-on-one with special guests. Usually they're judges, but we can do anything else. So check that out. It's also on iTunes, Google Music, Google Play, I think is what it's called. Moving on, we are still continuing our new partnership with Prelude Urban Dance Competition. So the next one is Prelude Philadelphia, and that's in February 18th, 2017. Man, it's already 2017.
Holy crap.
So in case you guys haven't noticed, and I hope you did notice, we've been gone for 2 months because we've been on break for the holidays, December and November, Thanksgiving and Christmas. So to make up for it, we're going to do 2 giveaways. We're going to give away 2 of these DanceFam TV shirts.
Oh, snap. What?
That's the back.
Come on.
That's the front.
Ooh.
Look at that contrast pocket.
You know you want it.
On the sleeve says DanceFam.
Yeah, but don't worry about that. That's for us. If you're on the podcast listening, it's a white t-shirt, black contrast pocket with our logo on it. And on the back, we have a bigger logo on the back. So if you want it, you got to do two things. You have to submit a video for us to review on the next episode that you want us to review. It's going to be a public thing, so you have to be okay with us talking about it and reviewing it. So that's one thing. That's one way to win a shirt. The second way is to submit a personal video that you want us to review. So maybe it's just you freestyling, or maybe it's one of your concept videos, or it's just you dancing in the shower. Please don't let it be you dancing in the shower. It'll be a private one. We'll send you one back. You can either do a video, or we can just write something up for you, whatever you prefer. So the way to do those things is to go to dancefam.tv/submit-video. We'll put a link down here somewhere. So check it out. Fill out the form. Let us know if you want it to be public or private, or both. That way you can submit it for both and try and get 2 shirts. I doubt you will. To be eligible, you have to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So that's one way we're going to get something out of this. So just make sure you're subscribed to us on YouTube, youtube.com/dancefamtv. Check it out. Cool. Ready to get started, guys?
Let's do this. Sure, let's talk.
All right. La La Land review.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Let's sing.
Let's talk about dance first, since this is a dance podcast. What did you guys think? Let's start with Magic.
The dancing. I thought it was good. I also thought that I think for Emma Stone, it took her a bit of time to actually get into that type of style.
Sure.
And it kind of reminded me of how for Debbie Reynolds, when it took her about 3 months to, be in Singing in the Rain. So she was kind of like, I guess, following in those footsteps where, she didn't really have that much experience in dance. So for her to really commit to being in this movie, then,
Right.
I thought she did a good job on that.
What'd you think of Ryan Gosling? His dance.
I think from before watching this movie, I already knew that he already had dance experience. I don't know if you guys have seen on YouTube where he has a dance recital and he's doing some sort of like hip hop movie. It's just
Wait,
him.
Really?
It's just him
I've
and
never
like
seen that.
maybe 4 other girls.
Really?
It's him like really young. And
I thought it was like him like now.
No. It's when he was like really, really young. I think it was before like the Mickey Mouse Club days.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
okay.
that's right. Oh, that
So,
makes sense.
yeah.
So he's not.
Yeah, I was
Say
just
hip-hop dance. Sorry, hip-hop dance?
I think there was some like hip hop in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta see that.
But seeing him in this movie, I thought, it looked pretty natural.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I was just gonna go off on that Ryan Gosling's experience from Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah, right.
So that's why I thought he's like, oh yeah, he can dance.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, it's like it didn't occur to me until I was like sitting there watching that movie. It's like, oh yeah, he's had some sort of like artistic dance experience then. But it was very interesting to see him in that kind of way to tap dance. I don't think I've ever seen like everybody puts him on a pedestal, and I'm like, why? I'm like, oh, he's actually pretty good.
You mean if a girl puts him on a pedestal?
I know every girl in the world puts him on a pedestal. Like
I put him on a pedestal. He's totally an underrated actor.
No. I mean, as far as the dance goes in the film, I think it's always good when you kind of just forget that it's a thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
So like that kind of like when you suspend your belief in that reality, and that's like kind of what film's all about. I think that like dance-wise, the 2 leads especially handled it pretty well, and I just never thought like, oh, there's a mistake, or oh, there's something that's wrong with that movement that looked like uncomfortable or awkward. So the fact that they were able to kind of glide through the movie the entire way through was a huge achievement for me, at least in my book, for the leads at least. And
like he wasn't just dancing. He was dancing with his fingers on the piano pretty much. And he learned all that.
He learned that
he
too.
did.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they recorded it, but he ended up learning it anyway. And I read that John Legend was really jealous that he could pick it up so fast.
Gosh.
So Mandy Moore was the main choreographer for this, not the singer.
Mandy.
She's Mandy Moore.
She's like a choreographer for Dancing with the Stars.
Okay.
So she handled most of it. But then, did you guys notice in the first scene, Another Day of Sun?
The opening, yeah.
Did you guys notice someone that we might know?
Jillian Myers?
Jillian
Myers.
She was an assistant choreographer on this, and I was like, I feel like I know her.
Yeah.
Like just, well, I don't know her personally, but like I feel like I've seen a lot of your stuff.
That hair.
Yeah, it was the hair. I was like, that
It was
so
a hair.
familiar.
It definitely was. That stood out.
A bright red
Saw
and curly.
Dana Wilson in there also.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
She's a killer for me.
Who was that? Who was she from?
She's in the Justin Timberlake tour.
Oh, right.
Right.
And she's, I mean, just by herself creatively, she's one of the Seaweed Sisters.
Mhm.
So if you've seen like any of Jillian Myers and
Mhm.
I think it's Meg Lawson and Dana Wilson, those three are the Seaweed Sisters. And those guys, if you've seen any of the videos that they've done, they create content that's just beyond conceptual. It's definitely storytelling. So it was like perfect for me to see Jillian in this and be like, oh, of course, she fits like a perfect glove.
I'm glad.
Louder. I got the louder sign. Sorry, guys.
That's right. I'm glad they were able to go mainstream without losing the art of it. Like, I mean, it's a mainstream movie.
Right.
They're definitely
Yeah.
out there, but the art is still like pure.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
dance.
Still going back to like those classic like musicals.
Oh,
and, yeah.
Classic Hollywood in general.
Right.
It was like a nice ode to like Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly and those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, classic Hollywood, golden age era.
Mm-hmm. And then I think I felt I knew what kind of movie it was going to be when it opened with presented in CinemaScope.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man,
This is
You're gonna
it.
enjoy. You're gonna
Yeah.
right from the start. You're gonna enjoy. Like it's hard not to smile with that.
yeah, exactly.
You know.
So the first scene, Another Day of Sun.
Yeah.
That was my favorite dance number. I mean, they even had like a cipher. They had
A little bit of a freestyle cipher going
Right,
on.
right.
they
Yeah.
had
A little
all
bit.
different all different styles. There was like I'm not sure what kind of dance it is. Maybe samba or like or
Jazz,
something.
maybe.
It was something. It was like a good mix and like blend of dances all in
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And they had the skateboarders going through.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was a 1-track shot.
I was about to
Yeah.
say, yeah. It was
Yeah.
that a one?
It was.
one take
It
shot?
was,
At least from what because that's immediately the first thing I did when I got home.
Yeah.
Whenever I finish the movie, I'm like, Google, tell me the secrets of the movie. That one was a one-shotter, but it was 3 one-shotters stitched together.
Oh.
It's that
Which
movie
is
magic.
It's crazy, yeah. Now, I mean, I hadn't get the chance to watch it again, but when I do watch things, I try to see first time I watch something, I try to take myself out of it and go, okay, just watch
I mean,
it.
you can't
Yeah,
help it.
yeah.
Usually it works. Like, especially if it's a good movie, I get like suspended, and I'm just like, okay, all the production stuff gets thrown to the side. I'm just a fan again.
Yeah.
That's the best part when I get to watch a good movie. But in that case, because it was so hitting close to home with like these one-shotter type things, I was like, how? Where is it? Where's the cut?
Right.
And when the way he explained it, at least in the article that I read, it was really, really clever. And like some of the whip pans that they would use to like really cut, but you could never really tell that that's where they did it.
Tell.
Yeah, no, it really did feel like this seamless. I think they did it over 3 one-shots stitched together, and I think it was like a 3-day shoot or something like that.
3 days.
They closed down the highway.
They
for
did
that.
Yeah.
close down the highway.
That was
I
on a real
bet.
highway.
Yeah, they did. I was like, what highway could they close down in LA? And I was like, smart. It's like the one overpass that's a carpool overpass. It doesn't really have.
Oh, gotcha. So it's rarely used.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very rarely used. I mean, it is used. It's just like an extra overflow type thing.
Gotcha.
But yeah, to do it over 3 days and to make it look seamless. And I don't know what the weather was like. Like,
Yeah,
there's so many
that's
things to do.
crazy.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's LA, right? So
Right. Yeah. Another day in the sun, guys.
So I don't think how does that work with a camera guy? Like, is that a big rig that he's using?
Yeah, I mean, from what I saw, they kind of like did like a false stage, made one of the Mack truck beds into like a stand for someone like a jib crane type thing.
Oh, gotcha.
And they were able to kind of have a jib crane float over the top of all of the action. And actually it went from like handheld to like rigging it onto a jib to doing the overhead to bringing it back down to a handheld.
Wow.
So I think credit to the choreographers and the cameramen especially. I think even Mandy Moore was like, there was another dancer in that entire sequence, and it was the camera crew, because
that's fair.
those guys were moving.
Yeah, we've been saying it. There's never enough credit to like the videographers and the camera crew for any dance video.
Definitely.
Yes.
Except for Mike Donas. He doesn't do any work.
And I don't do anything. I sit there flying a drone. I'll read the comment section. Like, that's really good drone work. I'm like, yes. It's extremely good.
So anything else about that first scene, Another Day in Sun? That was my favorite.
It's just breathtaking. I mean,
Yeah.
you're like, that's it. Like, I would have clapped and been like,
right.
"Thank you.
Like,
right.
I'll leave now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was
It's like
incredible.
that was a really good introduction. I was like, okay, I'm drawn. I want to see what else is going to happen in this movie now.
Yeah.
I'll sit around for another hour and a half.
I think this is a good investment of my time.
Yeah.
I really like how it ended too with it's another day of sun. La la la.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
with those big letters. Man,
And shout out
loved
to
it.
all those musical theater / dancers
Yeah, yeah.
because all
Yeah.
of them are captivating from the girl in the very beginning.
Yeah.
That's another thing I was going to say. They look like complete normal people.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, it's
Like,
musical
really
theater.
did.
Yeah.
Like I could see those people like walking down the street, and I wouldn't think twice that they just bust out into a number. It's like,
Right.
but like a lot of them don't look the fittest. Like
Yeah.
they look like just average
Yeah.
Yeah.
Americans.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Still, at the
Musical
same time, for me,
theaters.
I was still trying to, find like different dancers that I knew. Like, of course,
yeah,
they're Jillian Myers, but every
you
dancer
don't
that
look like
came
a
up-
dancer. You
Yeah,
don't look like a dancer, but obviously they do. They dance.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's awesome.
Outside of the opening sequence, I think there were a few more industry dancers I saw.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you saw Brian Tanaka
yeah.
and Kat Rendick.
He was in the concert scene.
Yeah. Yeah. I forget what the
Yeah.
name of that song was. Of the
Right.
John Legend
Yeah.
when they did the stage
Oh,
performance.
yeah.
But yeah.
Dating Mariah
something,
Carey.
Something about fire.
Ooh, okay.
Moving on here.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Someone in the crowd.
Someone in the crowd. Oh, yeah.
Someone in the crowd.
Yeah. Say it, bro.
Oh, that's with the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I loved it. It was like the Powerpuff Girls dancing together with the colored
Yeah, with the,
Yeah.
definitely,
dresses.
definitely.
The color was great. I something about closed quarters, like the house, and doing a one-track shot within that is, I don't know, it captivates me a lot because it just seems so complex and it seems tough to capture so much within a little space.
Right.
But I loved it. It was, for me, it was seamless. I mean, you can probably speak better to this, Mike. The dance was great. This is the first time that you see Emma Stone kind of, wet her whistle in terms of dancing.
And sing too, yeah.
Yeah, and sing.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you guys think about that? Anyway,
I was watching another YouTuber reviewing La La Land, and she said that this scene sort of reminded her of another movie of dancers doing the same thing. Like I think 4 or 5 women, and they're all dressed in different colors. And I forget what movie that scene was referencing. I forget what it was, but yeah, I don't know if you guys knew. It was some other classic musical dance
Oh, I'm
movie.
sure.
I forget what
I'm
it
sure
was.
there's
but
probably
Sure, there
homage.
is.
yeah,
But
Plenty of throwbacks.
yeah.
but what did you think of the shooting, Mike?
You're talking about because that entire song goes between 2 houses, right?
Exactly. It goes to a party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But their house.
Well, I mean their house, yeah. From inside the house to the travel on the outside, I think that's probably where it starts to pick up the most for me is when the girls go out and they're already in like their dresses and stuff like this. Yeah, I think a huge part when it comes to anything, especially the camera work is great, but like the performance and like that effervescent kind of like aura that the girls are giving off is hard to replicate in without just having those people who can perform, and that's what kind of is always like the trifecta of like having the perfect video. It's you as a production crew doing your camera work, just as good or as best as you can, and then the choreography for me and the performances of the cast. And then the music, these 3 things, like if all of those kind of hit, like you kind of get like that perfect blend.
Yeah.
That's usually when you've got something successful on your hands and in front of you. And I think just a lot of La La Land hit all 3 of those, like nail on the head kind of thing. I mean, for me, it really boiled down to those sequences and a lot of the sequences to what was happening in front of camera, the content of what was happening. So that was, I mean, the entire time I watched this film was just kind of like, like
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Oh man,
it's happening. So yeah, I loved it. Absolutely.
For me, since this is the first time you start to see her sing and dance, and her roommates, or the girls that play her roommates, they look and sing and dance better than Emma Stone.
right.
So I thought it kind of put her out of place for me. I mean, it's fine in the sense that I like that she seems just like a normal person doing this stuff.
Yeah.
But when she lives with 3 people that are dancing next to her and out dancing her, you can tell like, oh, she's kind of the newer one out of these 4.
It shows her character, being, kind of still struggling,
Exactly.
in this whole acting business.
Yeah, she's still developing her talents.
Yeah, I like that though. I think Damien Chazelle's kind of the guy who's like I saw a featurette earlier, and he's kind of weighing that reality versus dream of like what can you do, and how hard it is to kind of continue to tell yourself, I can do this, and I gotta, I've gotta just believe in me, and no one can tell me what I can do. Kind of mentality you have to have for such a long period of time. So I like that he cast these people, because I think the casting director did an incredible job, and we saw them in the opening sequence. But if you see, like, I have an option to cast the 3 roommates, and I choose the atypical model type roommates for her to have, and it's Emma Stone. Not saying that she's not beautiful, but she's got this classic kind of general look to her. Yeah, I think it was a choice for sure to kind of see, all right, you've got the 3 beautiful girls in her, and what does that mean, or how does that, how does it stand out, So, but to your point as well, it could feel the opposite way as well. It could make her stick out like a sore thumb, but maybe that's also what they want.
Terms of like a dancer, like we when we see like urban dance performances, everyone now, especially nowadays, everyone has to be clean and look the same. Yeah. So then when you watch something as a musical, you can't really. It's hard for me not to think of it as a different way. I love musicals. Don't get me wrong. I think I've watched a ton of them, but. I guess especially with the classic ones, like you mentioned, Singing in the Rain with Debbie Reynolds. Yeah, she had 3 months to learn, but she nailed like every
she really did.
Comparing it to like
awesome. She looked like a pro.
Comparing to like Gene Kelly, he's doing this his whole life. So
I was like, wow.
So like, I guess it was like an artistic decision to make for Damien. So I mean, it was good. I think at the end of the day, like I'm totally fine with how they did everything. Anything else about someone in the crowd? Well, let's get to the next part of someone in the crowd when they get to the party. Not a whole lot of dancing, a lot of slow-mo stuff. But my favorite part was when the tricker jumps into the pool.
When they got in the pool.
And then he kind of gets in the pool, and then the bubbles of the pool kind of look like champagne. Kind of like bubbling.
I didn't even notice that.
As it spins. It's a Hollywood house with a pool. I mean, spinning around.
I thought that spinning camera work kind of like dizzed me out. Like
it did. It made me
like, wait. Dizzy. I was trying to watch the dancing too. I was like, wait, no, and it kept going underneath the water. So
especially when it got faster and faster.
Yeah,
right then, my fiance Isabel, she gets motion sickness.
Oh yeah,
when we watch the first Cloverfield or something like a founding footage film, she gets sick. So when it started spinning, I look over to my left. I'm like. And she's like, I'm fine. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm fine.
But no, I thought it was cool. Like it just like the whole spinning thing adds to the whole concept of someone in the crowd of this Hollywood life. Maybe someone will be there. You're caught up in this circle of things. I liked it, but I can see how you miss a lot of things.
Yeah, I felt like it took away a little bit from there was the dancing around the pool. Like it was hard for me to focus. Also, like they're still doing something, but then it's like just keeps going.
Just kept blurring. Yeah.
It got really blurry, and then I understand the effect of it, but it's just like maybe just a little tweak it back a little bit.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, yeah, for me, I watch the sequences, and I think, like Eser says, you understand its intention. But then, just visually, I'm a little nauseous. So.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I love it.
It's a hate and love relationship. All right, let's move on to the next scene. Was the Sunset Hilltop dance scene. The first time they danced together.
Yeah.
Which I think... this one might be my favorite also. I know I said the first one was my favorite, but...
everything.
I think the whole movie was my favorite. But, it's such a classical feel to...
It really was.
This duet.
The song.
Yeah.
And then the dance, like they just break out into dancing. Yeah. There was also another one That's shot,
another
right?
one too.
Yeah. That's what I love about the director and Damien Chazelle. He definitely opts to there's some honesty in a one-shotter. That there are no cuts. Oh, yeah. So the fact that he sticks to it and then just allows the performers to carry the weight of that scene is, and then no one knows what ND filter. No, I mean not no one, but if people don't know what ND filters are, they're covers you put on the top of your lenses, or sorry, filters you put on the top of your lenses. Because the backdrops that they're capturing in this background for me is it looks like a fake stage.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Right?
Yeah, it looks like I
thought it was some blue screen, but no, it was on location.
It's moving. This doesn't make sense.
They said they had a 30-minute window every day to shoot it
on that location.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Magic hour type situations, but the God, that for me. Aside from just because everything fit so perfectly in that sequence, but the backdrop of all of it kind of felt so classically Hollywood.
Yeah,
and then her dress was like a goldenrod yellow.
That was gorgeous.
Perfect.
Yeah, and it's just all those types of things that just got strung together. Like I said, he keeps hitting all of these elements and putting them on again. He just nails it. And I'm just like, this is.
And
goals.
again, this is La La Land in LA, so we got to show some of the nice spots.
I like that too about LA because LA is so looked at from the outside in as like this. I mean, it is what it's not what the stereotypes say it isn't. It is superficial, and it does have all those qualities. But there's also like that classic kind of like even the architecture in the apartments that they chose to shoot in and everything, like as far as like locations and where they had dates and the back lots and all these things was uniquely Los Angeles. And that view up near Griffith Observatory was absolutely one of the iconoclast sort of views, and they captured it so well, and then throwing dance on there, I was like,
their tap was fine. Their tap was great. His tapping was a little better than Emma Stone's, I guess, because he's more used to dancing.
Right.
She looked. I mean, I hate to say it, but she looked like a white girl tapping. Pretty much. But she nailed it too. Like. Yeah. They had to go from singing a duet straight into dancing. Like she literally changes her shoes halfway through.
Yep.
Their chemistry is on point. This is their third time working together on a movie. Their chemistry is on point with this.
Yeah.
It's my favorite song. I like how it's they both don't want to admit, or they both want to say to themselves like this will never work between the two of us. Right. But obviously
maybe it will.
Maybe it is.
Right. Yeah.
I know, right. Spoiler alert.
Like it's funny. Like their words say it's never going to work, but their chemistry and their singing and their dancing fits so perfectly that it kind of just And it's a good kind of contrast for me.
No, it's amazing. Yeah.
Anything else about this one?
For the dancing for Emma Stone, I mean, she got it down, but I still kind of felt like it looked kind of beginner, and especially when she did some leaps or turns.
It was kind of basic.
Some lines weren't straight. Maybe.
Actually, I read in an article, Manny Moore made that decision along with Damien Chazelle to kind of keep it not as complicated as it could be for the sake of, being more real.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to be real in a musical when you just start to break out a number, but they didn't want it to be like Singing in the Rain where everything's perfect.
Right.
Right.
It doesn't really fit their characters in this
exactly.
movie. Yeah.
And what this film is trying to say. I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but there's obviously spoilers. So I'll probably put something in the beginning, like some kind of a
spoiler
graphic. Yeah. But yeah. All right. Anything else?
No, I mean, I think to your point about Emma Stone and her character. I mean, just as far as Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone's chemistry goes, it's on point.
Yeah.
They're like a classic couple on screen.
Yeah.
It's just like you see it and you're like, I know what your real life is. You're not together, but somehow when the camera turns on, I believe
it. It's very believable.
And I think that scene kind of, that was very poignant for those two. I like the kind of messiness of it all a little bit too sometimes, especially when you're like kicking dirt onto her shoes.
Oh, yeah, that's
It's so playful. Oh my God, they're so playful.
They're so cute together.
Damn your comedic timing.
And so, I just think, anybody who's a hopeless romantic was watching that sequence, they've already completely bought in before then, and now it's just like, it's sold on me. So what happens past that point is it just changes kind of, the weight of what decisions are made next. So that scene was, I keep saying every scene's perfect. It's perfect, guys. It was all perfect.
I agree.
Yeah.
Watch a couple more times.
I watched it twice.
Let's go watch after this.
Yeah, I should watch it again. But I did enjoy how playful that dance sequence was with the one-shot take, and just like how we all said, it was like good chemistry. Despite like her basicness of dance, of Emma Stone's dancing, but I think it was just very, very nice to see like that human side, like how playful they were.
Yeah.
I think even towards the on the back end of that scene, when you realize that his car is not, he's like, oh, I'm just around the corner, and he like,
He walks
he's
all the way
not
back.
there,
It's
and I'm like, oh, God.
you slick
She
bastard.
only knew how much she loved her. I hate us.
Oh, we're awesome.
I love you guys. All right, let's move on to what other dancing was there? So there was that whole summer montage, I guess, when they finally do get together and they just do a whole summer montage. There's a little bit of dancing in there, random stuff. Oh, especially when he's playing at the Lighthouse Cafe on the piano and she's in the crowd just tap dancing away.
Oh, I like that part
A
too.
call and response.
That was pretty
Like
awesome.
going back and forth.
Yeah. I love how much she loved. It looked like she loved dancing.
Yeah.
Like that her tapping. There's a call and response between Ryan Gosling on the piano and her tapping on the floor. It was probably quick. It was maybe like 20 seconds or less.
Yeah.
But it was really good because you saw how much they loved each thing that they were doing. Her being on the floor dancing. I mean, she's an actress, but
And dancing to jazz.
yeah, to jazz.
Right. She didn't even
so
like before.
She has a love for it now
Yeah.
because of him, and he's jamming away on the keys. Obviously, not much to say about that other than it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was Damon Chazelle did Whiplash.
I was
last
just
year.
about to say, yeah.
Yeah.
And he does that
Love
whip
that movie.
pan between the composer.
Is that what it's
too.
called? A wet pan?
That's a whip pan, yeah. That's it, where you're able to use the blur of the motion of the camera quickly panning as a cut.
Okay.
So
That's
you're
cool.
using like boom, and then you cut to kind of create that.
Yeah, that's a really great effect.
Yeah, it's so
That's awesome.
practical. Practical effects are the best effects.
Yeah.
But no, I think that the names completely slipped my brain. But in Whiplash, in the final sequence, the drum sequence,
Yeah.
Miles
You always-
Teller
yeah,
and
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
and the band. It goes
kind of
between
see
the-
that
call
same
and
effect,
response,
and I love that.
Yeah.
Kind of that he has that style. I mean, it's not that he's an auteur director, but like that you can kind of tell that he's got this great musicality within
that's
his
his style.
film
Yeah,
direction.
exactly.
Is awesome.
And it makes you feel like you're actually there looking back and forth.
yeah,
right?
absolutely,
So-
absolutely.
Man, it adds so much to
I
it.
think he's one of the
I'm in the
up and coming great directors.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
man.
I think he's next. The next thing he's going to do has nothing to do with music, even though his previous 3 dealt with music. I think he's doing a Neil Armstrong biopic.
Interesting.
Armstrong.
Yeah, studios need to give him some, studio money and
Yeah.
see what he can do with it. 'cause
Yeah.
he can do-
He didn't write it.
I
They're
think
just
I-
giving him a script to do.
Yeah, I think I saw online someone's trying to hire him to do some superhero movie or something. Maybe that was just a rumor. I don't
Could
know.
do.
But
Could
I was
do.
like, really? That's not.
Yeah.
He might make it more traditionally comic book.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
A
Yeah.
musical comic book.
A musical.
I don't know. I might be wrong on that.
Do you
but-
remember Ang Lee's Hulk?
Hulk?
You know how they're
Oh
like
my
different
gosh.
cuts
Yeah.
of like it look like
Like
a comic book.
strips, like movies.
Yeah,
That's what I kind of see him doing, but I hope it never happens. But anyway,
Yeah. Moving on. Moving on.
Yeah.
We're going to Rogue One now.
anything else dance wise? I guess the next time we see them dancing is when they're doing the planetarium duet.
Observatory.
Oh, yeah.
There's no singing.
That was nice.
Oh, observatory. Sorry, not planetarium.
The planetarium.
Well, maybe.
It was a planetarium.
Yeah, okay.
It was
Yeah.
inside the observatory. Yeah.
Right.
And that's when it gets truly musical in that they just break all
From
they break
reality,
they break from reality. It
Yeah.
gets into a fantasy
Right.
type.
The
Where they start
musicality of
floating.
the floating.
Yeah.
The musicality of the floating was very clean.
I got taken aback by that. I was like, oh my god, he just threw her up in the air.
I'm visualizing like the wires hanging from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like they're moving as if like they weren't there. I was like, man, they know how to dance in the air too.
Yeah, I know they are.
And they're dancing among the stars.
Yeah.
Dancing with
Yeah.
the stars.
I think that silhouette
Whoop.
of them, it was just like black. They were
Yeah,
all
yeah.
black, a silhouette, and then dancing against the stars. I don't think that was them.
I don't think so either. It didn't look like
If
them.
you really look at like the guy, I feel like that's not Ryan
don't
Gosling.
ruin this for me.
I think they maybe hired like a more professional couple to do
I
that.
hope not.
That's just me. That's just what I
No,
thought.
like at the very end,
Yeah.
that fantasy of what could have been when they did that whole
yes.
Right.
thing, and they were doing that waltz
Yeah.
on like the floor with the stars. I mean, they look great,
Yeah,
and they didn't look as difficult as that black silhouette thing.
I guess. Yeah, because
mean-
all they were just like turning. And
Yeah,
turning,
they were just doing turns
Yeah,
and stepping, like
Yeah.
step.
I did like that transition though, going to the observatory from watching that on the screen that they were watching the movie, and then doing the exact same thing.
Yeah,
you know,
it's weird. The only thing I was thinking, I was like, how did they get the permit to shoot a Griffin? Like, I don't know.
Right,
that's the weird questions I asked myself.
They didn't.
They just drove on.
You can't do that.
Yeah,
I was like, you can't drive onto the grass like that. People have picnics there. Show some respect.
I heard they built the planetarium inside. Though they couldn't film inside there.
Yeah, I don't think. If you've ever been in there, it wouldn't have been conductive to the production that they pulled off because it definitely. I was like, it looks like it, but spacing wise, it's much smaller than that. But that planetarium is amazing if you ever get a chance.
Yeah,
shout out to Griffith Observatory.
Free
tickets. Free tickets now.
Is it really?
No, it's, trying to get sponsored by an observatory. Free.
By an observatory.
Free ticket.
free ticket.
Anything else dance wise before we move on to like the rest of the movie? Quickly at least. Let's just move on.
Okay.
What do you guys think of the music? For me, I love the original music, but there was only 3 or 4 original songs, and the rest of the movie was just variations of those same songs. I don't know if you could tell.
Yeah, it was definitely.
I wish there were more original songs as a musical, because unlike say another musical that came out this year or last year, I guess, Sing Street, all those songs I guess they were catchy for me. These songs, they definitely fit this film and musical, but I didn't walk out knowing all the songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The way it just makes me want to keep singing on. I had to, throw on Spotify and actually start listening to it again to actually
to
really appreciate
get the soundtrack and just keep listening.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's one of those we kind of hum to it.
Yeah, right.
But like, what were the lyrics?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's a tune that's in your head.
Speaking of that tune, like I think the music was so good. After watching the movie, I just went to the restroom, right? And then some guy who watched the movie too, he came in, bam, bam, bam.
Oh yeah.
And then, he just did this. I just looked over. Oh, there he goes.
It's about to happen. Musical in the bathroom.
That's how catchy, and good this music is.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Is Mike about to be in a
flash mob?
Okay, I'll join it too.
I didn't. Like I said, I didn't hate it. I just wish there was more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's 2, 3, in a soundtrack of 11 or 12 that really stick out. The other ones are
they're variations.
Yeah.
I liked the opening one, Another Day of Sun, Someone in the Crowd, and A Lovely Night. And then the rest were kind of just good.
I think you could submission wise for award season they could only do one submitted for the film, and they chose Someone in the Crowd. I thought they would choose Another Day in the Sun, but they submitted another. Yeah, they submitted that one for award season.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So they can. Yeah, that's where they that's the horse that they bet on.
All right.
For both Golden Globes and Oscar?
I think so. I think I only heard for the Globe, so I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that if you put it in for Globe season, I'm not necessarily just want to be change it. We want one for Globes. One for the Oscars.
We have to win at least one of them,
right? If it loses in the Globes, we're let's switch.
Who else is competing for that, though?
Oh, goodness.
Sing Street, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
Probably. Yeah. I don't know. All the movies, they're all smart. They hold them to the end of the year, and then they're which one? Yeah.
Sing Street is the only other one that sticks out for me for this whole year, I think. And La La Land. La La Land is front runner for both best film
in a musical or
comedy, right? Comedy.
Yeah.
Deservedly so.
They're gonna win.
I think Ryan Gosling's up for actor too, best actor.
Oh, interesting.
Surprisingly. Again, he's so underrated. He ends up being in movies that don't do well, what was the one he did with Russell Crowe?
Nice Guys. I love that movie.
That was a great
That actually was a
movie.
good
That was a good movie.
Really,
I think it just released at the same time as a bigger movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also Drive.
That was a good movie
He
too.
didn't even talk that much.
It's great.
Yeah.
Though. He's in all these
It is
movies
great.
that make LA look
Yeah.
LA in the 87. I don't know what the time era for Nice Guys was, but I love that LA version.
Mm-hmm.
I love Drive's LA version. It was this modern, 20, I think it was 14, but LA, sorry.
Where do you live, man?
Right now, I'm in my old bedroom. I grew up in.
At home.
No, yeah, actually, no. I don't have a place in Los Angeles. This is a plug again, guys.
There you go.
Yeah, I got to look for one. Back to LA in a week or so. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, man.
No.
Okay.
Josh was coming with me.
Damn it, Josh.
Josh.
Let's move on to the story. Generally, I liked it. I love the overall theme. Well, I liked how bittersweet it was at the end.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad it didn't end in a perfect bow.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm glad it
nicely.
didn't
And
do
I think
that.
that's also Damon Chazelle's style too. Same with Whiplash. It
Yeah.
kind of ended on a
Well,
bittersweet type thing.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
like,
some
you did-
ambiguity
No,
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of gives like the whole mindset of sometimes like your dreams won't have everything.
Mhm.
Right.
You have to sacrifice some things to achieve them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of
Yeah.
thing. But at the end, I was like, why aren't they together?
Yeah, right. They're just looking at each other.
Yeah.
Do a little smile. Okay.
I was like, you left one man, you can leave this one.
Yeah,
too.
I know.
I was like, wait, no, she has a daughter. She has a daughter.
She has a
It's fine.
daughter.
I can't.
I really
support
thought that was supposed to be like some dream
fake
or
I was
something.
like,
yeah, this is what could have been, but no.
let it happen. Let
Yeah.
this happen.
I have thought, I was like, oh, wait, maybe what we saw didn't actually happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
what
they
we're
do
seeing
the
now.
same thing where
Yeah.
where they're are
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, I think
It's
that
was
was yeah, we're all so sad. We're like, come on,
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan twist.
Exactly.
No, I think that's also harkening back to I feel like it was a good contrast, especially with I forget the song again, the hilltop scene,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and that where they were kind of like, we know this won't work.
Oh, true.
Kind
A
of
foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
bit of a foreshadowing where it's like, we're star-crossed lovers kind of situation, but we also have dreams that are bigger than both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like, I love that the entire montage of like the parallel lives
Yeah.
was like what could have been, but someone was sacrificing something
Yeah.
as far as like what they really wanted. So it was understandable, but heartbreaking, but also just kind of like, I think every person's been in that situation where the word
Yeah.
is timing,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it's just not
Yeah.
there yet.
Yep.
And so I think that was kind of very poignant. And I was really glad to kind of see that that's where they ended up, with it's a musical. So like, it's about humans and maybe more humanizing the emotions. Actually, it's funnier.
Yeah, true.
People think in musicals that like, oh, it's kind of fake. I'm like, no, it's kind of like I can show you right now in a very extreme way how I feel.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So that was for me.
A lot of people don't understand it. Well, I watched it a second time last night, and the movie theater was still packed.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
made me really happy
Sick.
that
Wow.
people are watching this
Right.
still like a lot.
Well, it actually just came out wide release recently, right? Or was it
December
like
9th.
December 9th was.
Yeah,
I thought it was
that's been a
limited
while.
release. Oh, okay. Yeah,
been a
no,
while.
sick
Yeah,
then.
sure.
Yeah, so it's still packed. So like, that's
Wow.
good. But walking out, like I realized not a lot of people knew what they were expecting.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I used the bathroom, but then I just came back. People were still walking out, and it was like a bunch of girls that were like, I didn't like how random a lot of things were.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like,
Oh.
they must be new to musicals.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Or they just came for Ryan Gosling shirt off.
Right.
Crazy stupid love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then like other people, obviously they understood like musicals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end, in terms of story, I was kind of making up excuses for myself of like, oh no, I'm sure like they could have worked it out if they just still did their own thing and just promised to be together. I was like,
They didn't really
"Oh, what am
dance
I
together in that scene.
doing?" They
Was
did. They did.
It didn't happen, Russ. It didn't happen.
It's okay.
Me and Sebastian.
Me and Sebastian.
Oh god, it was so good. All right, let's wrap up La La Land. Anything else that you guys want to speak on before we move on? I'm good with it.
Well, I was just, I didn't really like the movie. I'm just kidding. I love the movie, but I don't know. For some reason, like when the music was just playing throughout the movie musical, for some reason I was just waiting for like Stewie and Brian Griffin to come out and start doing a
Yeah.
dance number, because like it was like a
With,
very
hats and canes.
Yeah.
I was like, the music was very
somewhere in the crowd.
it was so similar to like Family Guy's like normal style. Like
Yeah.
I know how Seth MacFarlane like enjoys this kind of classical music as well.
I feel like
He
it's
like-
what Ted
yeah.
would look like if it was
Yeah,
a musical.
it was.
For sure.
Like definitely, but
he loves a big band music.
he does. He really does. So I don't know. For some reason, I just did, but I still enjoyed it anyway. But it was just had that nice familiarity to it to me, but that connection. But
Family Guy.
yeah,
True.
Yeah.
I love it when Family Guy does musicals. That's a but anyway.
Yeah.
Different thing.
Anything else you want to say?
Yeah. Love the movie. Watching it the second time. Well, watching it the first time, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. But then watching it the second time, I find that watching movies more, you enjoy it a lot more.
Oh yeah,
a lot better. You just catch a little, more things on screen. And I definitely love the themes of this movie. Also about finding who you are, finding your purpose, your dream, going after it,
definitely.
And just knowing that not a lot of times it would work.
Yeah, just got to be real.
Yeah. So, love the movie. That's all I gotta say,
Mike.
I think for me, this is aside from the movie being perfect, I think I said that like 5 times already. It's good to kind of see this type of production, film wise, be put into musicals again. I mean, I think we still have them, throughout the years. But just not on that scale, I don't think. I think like the opening sequences and the time and that was devoted to really making it, work, is impressive. And I think it's inspiring for a lot of dancers, I think, and choreographers to see movement and have that type of end product for them to kind of say, well, that should be a goal of mine to achieve that level of production. I think that in dance film, it was a huge achievement, and I hope that enough people are watching it that they can kind of carry themselves that way more often than they do. So wonderful, and anyone who hasn't seen it, definitely check it out.
Yeah, please.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, highly recommend.
It's a front runner for a lot of awards, so definitely want to watch it.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to this whole discussion about our featured guest, Mike Donez, and the industry that he's in, which is pretty much the film industry, especially with dance videos and working with different artists and whatnot. So do you kind of just want to talk about first, just speak a little bit about how you work on things, or who you've been working with lately, what else you've been up to, and then we can ask other questions about that.
Sure. I mean, if everyone's kind of wondering how it would work normally as far as me being hired on a project, we got Josh, for instance. He's in the room. We just did a project last year. Very quick hitter type project. But kind of how Josh would just get in touch with me, and I don't know how it works for dancers, to be perfectly honest. I don't know on their end if they're watching videos and they're going, whoa, video wise, that looks kind of like what I'm looking for production wise for my choreography, or if I could, I don't know what type of determining factors that they're looking at before they give me a call or get in contact with me. But usually when they do, they're like, here's the idea that I have, here's the concept that I imagine, here are the dancers that I have. For me personally, that's where I would end normally, like in my early days of doing videography. But now it's sort of jumped into like, can I see the choreo? Yeah, I'm not a dancer. I'm not a choreographer. So it's kind of difficult for me to kind of take that role and be like, it matters for me to see it. Not because it's of whether I want to do it or not, but kind of because it at least helps me have some plan on how to kind of attack the choreography video wise. But after the choreographers get in contact with me, it usually sort of ends up with the planning and let me see the choreo, let me jump into rehearsals. If it's a longer piece, usually there's some transitions or blocking and things like that I can sometimes have input in, and I can say, you know what would be visually more interesting if maybe we did it this way or flipped it that way, or we had to travel this way. But I never jump into you should change this choreographic.
Just let them do that.
Let the choreographers be the choreographers for sure. But that's kind of how it works. Is we work from the beginning to the end, and even into post production and the edit. We're sat down. And for me, I normally would do the first edit because it's difficult for dancers to kind of get into the mindset of. The problem with editing is people want to build it perfectly from the start to finish. They want to choose each shot perfectly before they move on to the next. And that's a really difficult way to build any type of edit. So I just tried to push a sort of a skeleton cut, and then let them come and see it and say, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. But yeah, that's essentially the process that happens. The choreographers find me, and we kind of work on it from the beginning. As far as projects goes, we did the black or white video in the summer, and that was a huge success as far as what me and Tobias set out to do.
Tobias.
Tobias, yeah.
It's Tobias.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Tobias. He doesn't mind either way. He's not like, those bastards. Get on that show. You tell him to say Tobias. And he'll even crick him, Ellie Hammer. I'm like, we're not in Denmark, bro. It's Tobias L. Hammer. No.
We got both names wrong.
Yeah.
No, trust me. He's in the UK all the time, and everyone goes with Tobias. So he's like, it doesn't matter. He's gonna hate me for that, but he's like, it does matter. No, after the success of that, we definitely started getting calls to do some cool projects. And so, yeah, we've been working on a couple of those with a couple of labels for some artists who are looking for dance videos and
That's
things
awesome.
like that. But past that, I'm looking forward to being back in LA, honestly. I think being back in Los Angeles, like I've been in London for 7 months this year and 7 months last year.
Jeez.
So it was a long time in each of those stints. And while I was there, I really got to travel around, and I got to kind of meet the European dance community. And the European dance community is it's full of talent.
Oh yeah.
It's full of talent, and it's full of people who are completely unhindered by the industry. I mean, London is the epicenter of the dance community in Europe, but still, like people like if you want to find foundations, you'll find foundations in the UK and in Europe, and you'll find good foundations. You'll find people who make a living off foundations, and it's crazy that even more so that you go to some of these dance studios there, and you still see kind of the things that you see in LA, where they're going to the commercial classes and those classes that get them because the choreographers are teaching, the choreographers that book are teaching,
Right.
and the foundation classes are upstairs, and you're like, there's like 6 people in here. And you're like, what's going on? So yeah, you'd be surprised. But being in London and in the UK and seeing that talent, it's been good, and it's been healthy, and it's been definitely eye opening. But I'm also, like I said, ready to get back to Los Angeles because there's a lot of collaborative energy there as well.
Yeah, right.
And of course, there's a lot of talent to be found as well, and a lot of good stories. I think, next year is definitely going to be motivated by conversations and trying to capture a bit more documentary style things.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think it's important to kind of see, especially these days, motivations behind why things are the way they are. Rather than just kind of trying to create something conceptually that isn't as focused, just have it, come from the horse's mouth.
Right.
So even though I will still continue to do concepts, and hopefully concepts that are more film production, more La La Land, if you want to call it that.
Sure.
That's definitely a goal, but also I think a huge goal next year is to kind of try to have conversations that are real, and then when it comes to dance, kind of make sure that whoever's coming to me with the concept, that you understand why you're doing it.
Right, pretty much.
Yeah, and see if we can kind of get that translated to whoever's watching it. So that's the plan.
So based off of that, or coming off of that, how is the collaboration process with the choreographer, and like versus your vision of how you kind of get that translated across? Like, where does the compromise lie?
You mean like when you, the choreographer, and I,
when the choreographer wants one thing, but you think you can capture it a better way?
This is, I can just thousands of memories just rush through my head with Tobias and I arguing. They're like, it's not true. You can't do that. You don't understand. That's the rule of 180. We just broke it.
Oh.
No, I mean, no, we don't. we have a really great collaborative process. I mean, that's a huge thing. I think being able to collaborate is the first thing that is like, it's a red flag if you can't. And I haven't come across anybody thus far that I've said no to.
Yeah.
I've come across people who I won't work with again, maybe. But that's not to say, hey, listen, maybe this is just the hardships of, two people who are extremely passionate and extremely creative, and maybe what we end up producing out of friction would be something great. But sometimes it's just like, that was crazy. It was all crazy, and there was a megalomaniac type mentality to the entire process, and there was no collaboration.
Okay.
It was
It's their way or the highway.
Yeah, kind of thing. And and I've got no problem being hired in whatever aspect. That's just kind of, I think you asked, what do I label myself as? And whenever I credit myself in anything, especially when it comes to dance, I just do film by. Because the editing is in there, and there's no real definition of necessarily what I did. I could have just been the director of photography, which meant I just handled the camera. That was it. That's all I did. Or I could have technically kind of directed it, and I could have but I don't want to take that away from the creative direction of the choreographer. So I'll just, label it all under film by. It's not like a pride thing. Because I think at the end of the day, if you do enough projects and you say, oh, these videos were all good and I'm a part of them, then the lowest common denominator says, okay, Mike's probably the reason why something looked the way it looked. So when it comes to the collaborative process, I'm not so pressed on, having it my way. But I think when it does come to how, two opposing views to a particular situation might happen. Like, for instance, if we're debating, conversing about, could be a shot selection, maybe something simple like that, like how this should be shot or where it should be shot. There's a compromise there. Like, let's just shoot it both ways. We've got time. Maybe we don't have time, but let's just shoot it both ways, because obviously we both will figure it out in post. These are the compromises that on the fly you kind of just have to go and say, there's no point in arguing about it. And the majority of the time you've got dancers who are contributing or volunteering their time for free for these concept videos. So we have to be respectful of everyone's time. But also just kind of making sure that the energy doesn't splay out to it's out of control. We don't know what we're doing. But I think being collaborative is extremely important, and not being so stubborn about, having your point be heard is important to kind of let go of. And then also being demonstrative when that the person across from you isn't being collaborative. Or also just trying to say, what, this is not a battle I care to win. And at the end of the day, if you want the product to be the way you want it, the end product to be the way you want it to be, then we'll let it be that way. So it's kind of finding that middle ground and understanding the working relationship between yourself and who's standing across from you, and making sure that, there's some sort of balance there, whether it's not balanced or not, if that makes any sense.
I got you.
No, it's definitely a process.
Mark, our normal camera guy, who is at CES right now, he wanted to ask you, like,
Mark, are you safe? They say Mark is gone. They keep telling me about this Mark guy.
Can you offer me a job?
What?
Shout out to Mark.
What's your inspiration for framing different shots, and what comes first, framing or choreography?
Okay. See now? Okay. So this is a good question. It's a very good question. I've been doing dance videos for I don't know how long. I think the first one that was ever remotely viewable was like Zach Lattimore's Kisses Down Low. And since then, it's been, I don't know, 6 years since I've been doing dance videos. I've had a kind of like change of heart and like a battle between like what's important, what's not important, and like showcasing choreography. Part A of me says choreography is the most important thing to showcase. Obviously, it's a dance video. Your demographic wants to see choreography, and this is what's the most important part of watching a dance video. You should be able to sustain it. And I think that's true. When it comes to one-shotters, I think, yes, absolutely. I want to see clean performances with the choreography. And so I'll choose a frame that says, all right, these guys are performing it well enough. And I don't know, there's something when I watch a rehearsal that where I go, the choreography needs to be seen. As it's a full-bodied, like Tobias's, for instance, is a full-bodied choreography. I don't want to cut Tobias's, head and shoulders off from his feet because it's all happening at the same time. But some people will have no footwork. And they're very flat-footed, and they just sit there, and it's all happening in the upper body, or it's some isolation somewhere in the body that's important to kind of frame. So I'm attacking it that way. Definitely is like first priority. Is just like, what does the choreography ask for? That's the first thing. Then the second thing is cinematically. Am I choosing something that feels good as far as like energy-wise goes? Is it a movement that the camera should move, or is it a movement where the camera should be more front center static? And that would vary between, for instance, if the choreo is traveling, I'll definitely move the camera. If the choreography is very front and center and the blocking and the levels and the transitions are different, I want to choose something that's more stage, because that's the way the choreography is meant to be seen.
Right.
And so that's kind of, part two of it. And this is the other part that I was saying over the years. I've kind of had a change of heart where I go, for some people, especially within the industry, you're having choreographers who are doing choreography because they want to be creative directors, like to the Paris Cabelles of the world who are now being creative directors and directors, to everyone else who wants to be the next Paris Cabelle, even though she's mad young. She's done so many things. They're doing choreography for music video artists, and I get these types of requests from choreographers to say, hey, I want to do this, and I want to be a choreographer for the next Chris Brown or Usher or whatever video. And I'm like, okay, how often in these videos, aside from Chris Brown, do we see the choreography full, like framed?
Right.
Are we seeing it like, all right, here we go, this is going to be like 6-8 counts of full frame choreography, and we're not going to cut to a medium or anything like that. So I get that, and then I get the choreographers who are coming to me, and they're saying, but yeah, in this edit, can we use the wide cut? And I go, when is it ever wide? Or when, like, these are the kind of things where I go, you kind of have to, if this is what you want to do, if you want to do music video, then you do music video. If that's your ultimate end goal, if that's what you're asking from me, to create something almost like a submission type video, which is what a lot of people are asking me to do nowadays.
Yeah.
Then make it be music video and be okay with losing some of the choreography, and and kind of looking for those types of shots that kind of bring the energy of your choreography. Like dance hall's taken over the world, and it's in everything now. But dance is a game of trends and cycles, and so you're going to see something come in and something go out. But yeah, make sure that the energy of the choreography is well displayed with the shot selection that we're choosing. So, yeah, when it comes to shooting, sometimes I like to shoot for coverage and make sure that I just have everything so that we have some flexibility in the post-production edit.
True, yeah. Have options.
Yeah, but then there are very particular things, especially the reason why I want to go into rehearsals and see what's going on and kind of look at it from different angles from day to day and take a recording of it, on my iPhone. I have these new Snapchat glasses, and I'm like wandering around like rehearsals now, like, all right, show me the angles. And yeah, I think being prepared is important when you go into any of these things. And yeah, there are definitely particular things and moments where I'll go, oh yeah, we have to do this. And it's annoying because it's hard to break down the dancers and go, guys, I need you just to break down the 3/8 counts in, this section. It's like, we might as well just do the entire section. It's like, I'm so sorry. I just need to get this one shot in this one angle, but please do it again. And, there's that. And so that's kind of why next year I want to be like, please, choreographers, explain to your dancers that I want more than 2 hours to shoot this thing.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
Right.
just give me like 3.5, maybe 4, and we'll make something really special. And just kind of see if we can get a couple of people to do it a bit more production-wise, with that in mind, rather than like a guerrilla shoot between amongst friends. Like if the choreographer's spending money to put on a production, treat it like a production. And if it's going to, I'll treat it like a production as well. And they're all professionals. We all treat it like a production instead of it being a favor to a friend and, oh, that was something cool. Maybe, it could be something really, really special if everyone really invests their time into it. Because we're quick. We're consumption culture now, social media, Facebook, everything. It's just like, I'm going to watch for 20 seconds, sometimes not without the sound on. Yeah. I'm going to scroll up if it doesn't strike me.
Yep. Yeah, that's the same thing with me too. Yeah.
Mike's like,
yeah. It's like, okay.
Seen that before.
Yeah, that's fine.
DanceFam, no.
That's okay.
DanceFam,
I don't want to listen to anything.
Shot selection wise, I think that's kind of how you have to go about doing it.
Cool.
Yeah. It's interesting how you say about like you need more time instead of just 2 hours for a video shoot.
I mean,
because for me, for Mark, I did a dance video, a Star Wars freestyle dance video.
Yeah.
And I thought that maybe for this video shoot, we can, we only need like maybe 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
But it happened to be the whole afternoon going into the late night.
Yeah.
And it was just a short, simple concept that I had in my mind. And it ended up being that whole night.
Yeah.
So it's cool that, you're kind of covering, what type of shots to take, what to take out, and also about collaborating with other people. It's very important with any type of art form, whether it be dance or film. And working with him, I had certain shots that I wanted in that video, but he was like, no, let's do it this way. Let's shoot it from this angle, whatever. So, it's cool how, we're getting your perspective on that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, for me, I mean, it's collaborative in that sense, especially when one of you has a vision that's different from the other. It's definitely kind of one of these things like, it's hard to communicate visually what's inside your brain. You just wish you could just grab what's in your brain and throw it onto the TV like this, you know what I mean? You're like, I don't know what you mean. I'm like, but yeah, no, it's important to always be open to the idea that you might not be right, and that to accept that, oh, I might have this knowledge, but this person might have something that I don't know, and I need to respect that and kind of pay attention to the fact that, I'm not the end all be all. And there have been plenty of occasions, whether it's in the shoot or the edit, where I've found like, well, that was a better way. And I just wasn't, able to detach myself from the idea that this was the best way, and that was it. So.
And even for DanceFam TV, we have this new show called Behind the Dance. And for those of you who don't know, it's, check it out. It's where we go to different dance events and we do sort of like behind the dance or behind like the scenes type of kind of documentary where we actually go behind the stage, film what it's like to be there, film all those moments. And one of my first videos that I did for that, I showed it to my sister because she also does film editing and film production. So I actually just showed it to her, and she was like, "Okay, let me show you what things to take out and just to make the whole video tighter." And from that point on, I kind of took that advice and then added it on to the next video and the next episode. So I think from that point on, I kind of improved on that. And for me, like, I'm not a professional filmmaker at all. I just film on a point and shoot and edit on iMovie.
No, I mean, everything gets better. I think that's the one thing for me is that at some point in my brain, I go, oh, I hate that. Like, there's never been a video where I walked out and I've been like, perfect. Always sat there and I'm like, oh, God, this is mistake written in like a bottle of whiskey in my left hand. You just kind of like get it in your head that, this is not right. And then if you can remember that and you can kind of make sure to drill it into your brain so that when you come across that problem again, to not make that mistake or to at least avoid it, you'll start to see an increase in like your end product and like how it looks for sure. That's cool.
It's kind of hard to take out like different like cool shots, but you end up just taking it out because
I think your sister hit them. I keep using the same cliches to hit the nail on the head, guys.
Hit it.
No, sometimes the best thing to do when it comes to when you're stuck on an edit or anything creative is to just take out your favorite part because that's usually the linchpin.
That's just your favorite part.
Just get rid of it, and you're just like, okay, and you throw it away, and
it turns out to be a lot better.
You're like, okay, now let's see what if I say that this component's not allowed. What am I allowed to do?
Right,
It's a really
interesting.
Yeah, it's a good
another compromise
piece of advice. Yeah, compromising with yourself because you're crazy, schizophrenic. Editing.
Let's wrap up this episode with this last question for you, Mike. What would you tell to someone who's trying to get in this line of work. So like, how'd you get started in this line of work?
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking of asking too. So.
And did you always charge for your services, or when did you start charging?
Yeah, definitely not charge at the beginning. I you know what it is? I think you do need to charge if you've got some professional background to it. But for me, I didn't. I think it's just like anything else, any other skill set job that you would, come out of college and you would take a low income or even an internship somehow, and do it not kind of being paid. I got started, I think 6 years ago. It was a friend of ours, Marianne Reyes.
Yeah.
And I did this dance video for her. It was like really quick kind of thing. And I remember it was just like, can you like do this thing? I was like, yeah, I got a camera. Let's see what happens. And yeah, no, I kind of started from there. It was like, I didn't expect it to be. It was kind of just like, dance is just another outlet for me to kind of get my production side creatively.
More content.
Yeah. Going just to kind of practice when I'm outside of work. Because I've done everything in production, from lighting to set design to production design, and that was where I was living. But I always knew I wanted to be in charge of something creatively. So independently, this is where I was like, oh, this is my outlet. I get to do this and kind of go and be creative with. For me, what personally already has a built-in demographic. Like, it's extremely hard if I were to just decide to say, oh, I want to do short film, which I love short film and I want to do short film and more of it for sure. But it's hard to get it's hard to get a crew together to produce that and to make that happen. And even more so, it's harder to get people to watch it. And so I'm not saying dance is the easy way out and that the demographics built in and they'll watch anything you throw at them. But it definitely was more encouraging to say, there's a lot of clickbait out there. But it was definitely more encouraging to hear feedback. I think that was the important thing for me, was to be able to go, oh, I like this and I don't like this. And it was very kind of interesting to see how that was happening. So anyways, I got started that way and kind of just kept doing it on and off throughout productions. And, let's fast forward to 5 years later in London and,
So it takes time.
Better. It does absolutely takes time. I think it takes time to understand how to film dance.
Okay.
Or movement in general. It takes time to kind of understand where it goes and, and how it's all kind of happening, as opposed to a lot of people who come in from film production, they just want to shoot it like a film. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work sometimes. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But most times it doesn't, especially with the way the industry is going, and especially in hip hop. It can't be so flat the way we shoot it. You can't shoot it cinematically all the time.
Right.
And so, that definitely, there was a learning curve there to try to figure out how to do it all. And what was the other part of the question?
That's pretty much it. Or what would you tell to someone trying to get into this line of work?
If telling someone who's trying to get into this line of work, and as far as like the whole making a living wage off of it, in the very beginning, I tried to make a living wage off of being a videographer, and that's difficult, especially if you're in the community at the time when we were coming up. This dance community, as far as video wise, didn't really exist 6-7 years ago the way it does today.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. And so you've got productions and concepts and, 3-axis stabilized gimbals that are coming and making things look beautiful. And, it really revolutionized what dancers were able to do on a light budget. But that's the thing, is that dancers before would never pay someone unless they were like, Brian Friedman type status who could just drop $500 or $600 on a project. But that's what normal choreographers are doing now, is they're dropping, an X amount of dollars that at least makes it livable wage at some point.
You get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for at some point. But that's the thing too, is that the quality is very across the board. You're looking at it and going, okay, I know what I'm going to pay for. And so it's very easy to look at the rates and go, okay, this is what everyone's doing. It's hard for me, I would say, to say, all right, if I want to do dance videography solely, I would say don't do dance videography solely. It's not that the market's saturated, it's that you're not necessarily going to be able to have security in it as much as you think. And you're not going to be able to find XYZ ABC actually to make it from, the first of the month to the 30th of the month every month and make put something in savings. Yeah. I would say use it as a medium, use it as a segue. learn, be creative. It's a great outlet to be creative, and it's constantly mired with different challenges from different choreographers, and it's never the same shoot. And that's always interesting. But it's something that you need to use as a tool, if you're thinking about becoming a videographer in the dance industry, and really think about the end game. I think it's what dancers need to think about too in general, is what do I do after, my shelf life of being an industry dancer, commercial dancer is over.
Right.
What's the end game there? What do I invest my time in? Same thing.
Started a podcast, so
exactly.
We're getting old, so
this is what we do. We're going to talk about dance now.
Yeah. But that's definitely kind of that's the lay of the land as it stands right now. You can kind of name the top videographers out there, and and there's a handful of them that are coming up, and different states are all having their home state videographers.
Wow. True. Yeah. But
LA's definitely got their fair share of talented people.
Is it possible to get into this type of industry, not just videography, but film and production, without having any experience in, taking film class or going to school for it?
I didn't go to films. That's the cool part is that even if you were to walk in with like an engineering degree and be like, oh, hey, guys, I'm an engineer or something, and they'd be like, okay, well, their coffee's over there, and I like it with a powdered donut. And you still have to work your way up from the bottom, and kind of have that never say no mentality where at some point somebody's just like, there's a big responsibility. Who should I give it to? Oh, that guy that never says no. And then hopefully someone gives you more responsibility, and it just snowballs from there. But
you just have to keep putting in work, pretty much.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's a good thing. It's a good mentality that gets instilled in you when you go to Los Angeles. It really knocks you down a notch and makes you kind of think, all right, well, there's a pyramid to this entire thing, and there's the Hollywood Hills. You can kind of look at it like a game of GTA and be like, I'm in the lowly apartments and like nowhere land, La La Land.
There we go.
It's definitely just kind of put in your hours, and it'll all start coming in. I promise you. But it takes time. Unless you're just incredibly talented genius. Even then, it still takes time. But maybe things go a little bit quicker.
Yeah, it's really cool how you also say how dancers should pay the videographer what they really deserve and what their rate is. Because speaking about Mark, also, I really didn't know what to pay him. I told him I was going to pay him, but when I told him, okay, I'll pay you this amount, he was like, okay, I'll accept it, but this is my job, this is my career, and I expect to be paid a little bit more than that. Yeah. So
I think it's hard. It's really hard, especially because when you come into the industry in LA, it's like, oh, we have a relationship outside of this business relationship, and all my dancers who are dancing in this are doing it for free. So and it's just like, I know. But those days have moved on for sure, especially in Los Angeles, where you've got the choreographers just like, what's your rate? And it's just like, I understand that this is because they're seeing the return on investment. Like, Tobias, for instance, he produced the majority of the black and white video, and so that's the part where you're like, whoa, it was not like we're being sponsored or anything here. And he just had it wasn't I don't think he was thinking that. I don't think he was thinking, what's my return on investment? Because you don't know. You don't actually know, but there's a confidence in the projects, and if you're putting out something creative and you're giving it 100%, and you feel like you're gonna get some sort of return on it. It might not be a tangible, readable thing that you can write down on paper, but they understand that if they can just keep producing content that is strong quality content, then that people will find it. That's the way the internet works these days. I don't know who's controlling what we're seeing, but it does turn things around. So the choreographers are much more willing to be favorable to the rates that you throw out there.
Right.
It's just how often are they doing it? That's the thing.
Well, man, I'd love to talk more.
I know.
Well, we're running out of time here, so. And that's a good note to end on.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, Mike.
Appreciate you coming in, Mike. Where can people find you on Instagram and stuff like that?
God, I am so unaware of social media. I try. I told myself this year I'd try. So you can find me on Instagram at Mikey Dones. That's DONES. Use Facebook. Mike Donas on Facebook.
And
I haven't promoted myself properly at all. Yeah, and outside of that, and just hopefully in some interesting stuff coming out
the next Damien Chazelle.
Right, man.
Next Damien Chazelle.
And the award goes to Mike Donas.
I have to thank DanceFam TV. They predicted it.
Yes. Yeah.
Eser, where can people find you, man?
They can find me on Facebook. I'm under Eser Valencia. I'm on Instagram under Valcerca, VALSERCA.
Cool.
Sounds like a Sith.
Valcerca. True. And Magic Mike.
And you can find me on Zanga at Zanga. AZN Pinoy Mike.
Oh my god.
XO. Not Zanga. Boy, BOI.
Right. Shout out to our old heads out there who knows about Zanga.
Message me.
Friendster. Okay,
Shout out to those who know Friendster.
You can find me on Instagram at Hyperspace Universe and Twitter at Mike Arellano.
Yeah, and check out his YouTube, Hyperspace Universe. He has a lot of cool stuff if you're a Star Wars fan.
It's all right.
It's all right.
And
if you're a Star Wars.
As always, I'm your host, Russ, a.k.a. Lock and Robin. You can find me at Lock and Robin on everything else. If you like this episode, if you like what you saw, like, subscribe to us on YouTube. Check out our new site, dancefamtv. Remember, we're doing a giveaway, so submit videos. I'd like to thank Mike Donas again for coming in all the way.
Right.
Hey, come on,
Thanks
Mike.
for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
But yeah, hashtag the session, dancefam.tv. Peace, guys.
Have a good day.